Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our special budget finance workshop for the City of Truth or Consequences Commission. Today is April 14th, 2026. It is now exactly 9 a.m. Horace,
Honorable Walt Kessler.
present.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell.
Present.
Honorable Ingo Hopner.
Present.
Honorable Taz Glines.
Here.
And Honorable Amanda Forrester is absent. Mr. Mayor, we have a quorum.
Back and go and lead us in the pledge, would you please? To approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
All right, second. Okay, Horace?
Honorable Walt Kessler.
Aye.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hopner.
Aye.
Honorable Taz Glines.
Hey. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our budget workshop. Get ready for a long day. Please make sure your phones are either off or on silent for the day. Just a quick note before we get started. Thank you for all the hard work in putting this together, whoever or all of you that did this, whoever was involved with it. It's a lot of work. It seems like it's a little more organized than last year. I really appreciate the fact that everything's numbered. That makes things easier to find. So as we do our presentations, I know we have our guide and our cheat sheet, so thank you for that too. That helped. If the speaker will tell us what page they're on and where their budget is, so that we can all get on the same thing before we get started, so that we aren't flipping through things as we go along. That would help. But I appreciate these things being put together the way they are. These are preliminary, kind of a preliminary budget type thing. So today we will hear from all the department heads. I'm hoping we'll hear a little bit about what was accomplished this past year and what they expect to accomplish this next year. And if there's any major increases or decreases, I'd like an explanation of those ahead of time, just so you'll know. And then we'll ask questions as we go. So you guys keep up, and if we need to ask a question, just to get acknowledged, and we'll take care of business. Manager Whitehead, you want to start out by giving us kind of a little overview besides what I did, and tell us what we're going to do today and how we're going to do it.
Well, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the commission. It would be nice for me to do that, except the finance team's kind of handled this process.
Okay.
I think credit to them for working with Tyler, our software system, right? That's one of the challenges when we came on board, to notice that we have this software, we're not utilizing it to its fullest, and they work to get this up. So first of all, it helped streamline the process. I think in fairness, the book's a little thicker than I expected, but I don't think we fully understood what we would get out of the first time you use it, right? In fairness to the team, the information that's here. So you do have a lot of information in front of you, but I think it's in good order. As it relates to the budget, what I would tell you is across the board, the first thing that always concerns me would be revenues. Our revenues are trending pretty flat. We're a little behind in lodger's tax. We're kind of right on the mark with gross receipt tax. Funds are pretty consistent across that process. So in the budget, you'll see, and most department heads really pleased with that. They all kind of stayed inside what they did last year. We didn't see anybody really come forward and say, I really want to do this bolder. So the budget, we hope, is kind of flat. There's some numbers that are out. Haven't really looked into personnel fully yet. Lona put that together from HR, kind of put the numbers in as they're going to be. Kind of, we did the same concept we did last year. Put everybody in, put it at the fullest. Let's see what that looks like. So, with that, I'd really kind of lean over to let Jocelyn kind of, bring this home. I think you're going to see the presentation. It's good in your book. You'll see information on what their plans are, and then they'll be able to talk to you a little bit about what we've accomplished. And then at this afternoon's portion, we'll bring it home by telling you where we're at with current projects and those kind of items this afternoon when it gets to our portion of the agenda. So bring Jocelyn in to kind of talk to you a little bit about what they've done.
Sure.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
So basically what I put in our packet this year was, as you can see on the screen, this was the format that we developed through Tyler. When we had all the departments were able to go in and log in and put in their budgets, and then it allowed them to put notes or details. So it could give a description. That's why the budget portions are bigger this year in the packet, because we added all the information that was on there, but technically it's everything that's gonna be projected on the screen as well. And then I also included I thought LGBMS comes up quite a bit, but people don't really understand the reporting through DFA that the finance department has to go through. So I thought, because we have new commissioners and new department heads, that it would be beneficial to just, this isn't everything in LGBMS, but it's just the Q&A that comes up. So I thought it would be a bit educational to let everybody know kind of the process that once you guys approve the budgets, we have to go in. Mary has to go in, and she has to crosswalk the numbers into the system, and then it gets uploaded to the state and DFA, and then DFA reviews what we provided, and then they either question it or approve it. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how the entities have to use LGBMS. And then just basically a breakdown of what we're doing through this fiscal year process. And then the departments, it's basically I listed them in the letter, and then just the checklist of what we have to do for everything. And other than that, we have everybody's schedule. In the next section, we have the first part of it is the recap. And when we go to the next section where it starts in budgets. I don't know if you have any questions on your review of the recap and the account summary. And then we can kick off to the departments presenting.
Don't think we have any questions. Ready to go?
So your first department is going to be references.
Good morning, Mayor, Pro Team, fellow commissioners. Well, I'd like to start with some of our projects that we have done and completed this year. First one is Ethos. Ethos has come aboard with the new broadband. They're pretty much complete. The T&D study report is complete. The electric car charging station behind Denny's, that is complete. And then also the other electric car charging station that we got a grant for, they're fixing to start working there downtown. Love's Truck Stop. As a matter of fact, last Friday, they turned the power on to the building, so that is complete. 910 North Silver. We did a line extension there, replaced or installed 7 new poles. The Sierra Fair Barn, we replaced 2 poles back there, set a new transformer. We've installed 4 routers for the water department's AMI meters. Morgan Complex, we've installed 4 new pad mount transformers there. We've had new relays replaced at the substation. To date, we've done 63 new services since July 1st. We've installed 51 new poles. Our goal this coming year would be focusing on a new substation transformer and a new substation. Replacing the high size switches at the substation that we have now. Replacing the underground wire from the substation to the feeders. Also follow the T&D report action plan. And then pretty much keep updating our system, replacing poles and keeping our system maintenance. I'll stand for any questions there.
Commissioners? Oh, is there any major changes or upgrades that you want in your budget?
The only thing that was really done was our stocks, well, our subscriptions and dues, our SOX fees for Landis and Gear went up last year. We didn't get it in time when we did our budget last year, so we had to go up in that line item. But other than that, I think I pretty much kept everything the same as last year. On our wholesale power, we went up on that a little bit because the solar array is back online and their rates are going up. Sierra Electric Co-op rates have gone up a little bit too. Professional services, we did go up on that a little bit for the Love's truck stop lights from the end of the interstate going up to where they turn off, and have to engineer that, put some lighting there on that street. Other than that, I think everything's pretty well kept the same.
How's your staffing going?
Staffing's good. We've got a full staff, 7 employees.
Are there any special certifications they have to get or that they're getting?
They're doing their merchants test. It's a 4-year program. As a matter of fact, I'll have one guy finish his fourth year, be a journeyman, and the 3 other ones are starting their 2nd year, and then I have one apprentice that we just hired that's in his 1st year.
How's your overall budget doing now?
Doing good.
Okay, more specific?
Our revenue's good. The revenues come up. We did use quite a bit for our field supplies, being that we had to buy transformers for Love's, the Morgan Complex. Everything's pretty much going up a little bit, transformers, poles.
You anticipate any heavy equipment needs this year?
No, sir.
Pretty much status quo?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other questions? Okay. Any comments, any additions?
No comments, again, well, I shouldn't say no comments, I'm gonna make some comments. Again, I was gonna draw your attention to page 215 of the report. This is a good example of the, how well this report works. I really, Bo kind of went over that, but if you take a look at your maintenance, ground repairs, you can see how we could get the staff to lay out each of the items. So you can kind of look right there and see the vision of the electric department where Bo really wants to take the team on those repairs. So those would be the projects that would happen from that particular line item. And then we began to study the revenues. Again, revenues are trending in a good situation here. We're just a little over 14 cents on the residential side per kilowatt hour. That seems to be maintaining a pretty good expense side. We're at about we're just over 5 cents a kilowatt hour in expenses on that. We are paying just about 8.2 cents per kilowatt hour from as a blended cost across the board. Remember, we buy power from 3 different sources. Tri-State, which comes through Sierra Electric Co-op. Then we get power from WAPA. WAPA is a hydro generation that fills in the gaps. And then we're buying from the solar plant. Okay. But again, across the board, we're averaging just around 8 cents per kilowatt hour in cost.
Would you explain to us just a little bit how the solar plant works? How we're
Yeah.
making or not making money, or?
I won't quite be able to answer whether we're making money or not, but on the surface, the simplest thing, right? We own that property and we lease to the solar company for them to have that plant on the property. So that's an income back to the city. They're charging us, I apologize, I don't, let me see. I don't think I have
9
that.
cents, wasn't it?
What's that? It's over 9 cents. It's about half a cent kilowatt higher than what we could buy power from Tri-State through our agreement. Okay. Now it was cheaper, but the increased module in that contract has moved it pennies above, but it doesn't contribute a significant amount, right? So it's blended cost when you put it into the blend of what we get. So we're paying a little more from them for the solar side, but we pay a significant less cost from WAPA. You're only allocated so much power from WAPA. WAPA is the whole area's hydro generation, and we buy our allotment from them. So that's less. But effectively, the solar plant works. We lease them the property, and then we have this contract for 20 years to buy power directly from them. And the cost escalator has moved it slightly above what we paid Tri-State. So it's a simple, straightforward transaction. There's no modifiers to it. It doesn't, if you do this, you get that. They produce the power, put it into our grid, send us a bill for what we buy, and then that reduces what we buy from the other 2 potential operators.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Any other questions for electric?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you both. Thank you.
Next, we have streets, Mr. Brendan England. The first part of this budget is on page 48 from the general fund. It's just basically covering payroll. And then his working budget, 216, is on page 80.
Yeah, where are you going to start? I'm going to start on page 48.
Yes.
Okay.
So our first line item, the per diem street maintenance, is going to stay approximately the same. Minus the $500 increase for upcoming classes. We got to mention here in the last meeting that one of my employees have been taking a class, CDL class with the service center. The next line item is the uniform. It's going to stay the same. We haven't seen any cost adjustment with that. The employee training is going to be a $10,000 decrease. We projected that the schooling was going to be a lot more. To find out that it was only $1,500 this time, minus $4,000 last time. And then 216 for the fuel budget. We projected to stay below 45,000 for the entire year. The regular building maintenance, we did, no increase, $1,500 seems sufficient. And, the rental of equipment, we had a $300 increase, due to the event of one of our equipment going down that Randy has a majority of that.
He's on page 89.
Yeah.
A little bit different than you, so we have to catch up.
Okay,
Okay, so you're on pool equipment and then now roadway maintenance, right?
correct.
You guys there?
Okay.
This was one of the most significant increases with the roadway maintenance. We increased it from around 250,000 to 400,000, just because of the amount of road projects that we have coming up, from chip sealing projects from various roads to our LGRF projects and other things that we're going to pay in kind. So that is the most significant increase that we had, and I think it's going to help us out in the long run. Next, the subscription and dues. Well, we had no increase in that. All right. Skipping over Intercept, operating our field supplies, we had a $2,000 increase due to everything just rising, and I also want to get my employees better equipment. Instead of just using stuff a couple times and it breaks and things of that nature. Non-capital items, no increase, just approximately $3,000. Safety equipment as well, increase due to higher prices and just wanting to give my employees better gear. Maintenance vehicle furniture, $35,000, and there was no increase. That's about it.
Well, going back to roadway maintenance, you have increased to 400,000. Where does that money come from, Gary?
Mayor Pro Tem, what we did here on this line, we blend two lines together. We had a capital outlet that, it's hard for me to see, I apologize, 135 in it. And then the capital expense had 180. So we're just blending those two.
Okay.
And then the revenue source here in this particular line item is gross receipt tax. So again, gross receipt tax comes in one sum, and then finance breaks it out. And so the road construction works from gross receipt tax and some gasoline tax.
Have anything increase at all, or is it just?
Just the fuel and the employee training, I believe, was the only decrease.
And Mayor Pro Tem, as it relates to fuel, I'll do the same process that I did last year. I mean, so again, we just put in the budget what we think what we're going to need here. Last year, right before the interim budget was going in, and we took actuals from 10 months, and then we'll figure that out and then tighten those fuel items up a little bit more.
Have any anticipation of fuel costs increasing because of the price?
Well, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the commission, obviously, when we started, we didn't have it, and now we are with it. So obviously, when we go through that process of tightening those budgets and running those calculations, we'll have that discussion and make sure that we put enough in there now that gas is a little bit higher.
So one of the good features of this new process, if you look at the year-to-date 2025, that's not going to keep changing until we get to the end of the fiscal year. And it'll show how much usage, so we'll have an exact for each department of what was expended here as well.
Any other questions?
Mayor, if I may add a couple of comments. So we have several road projects that we received last year that we had planned to start March, April, and May of this year. We have Second Street project, both Pershing, coming back down to Maine, and then we have one from Date Street, to Ash. Those projects will get started off right now, even though they were in the budget last year. We'll get moving on those. We have some chip seal roads planned. And then, as you know, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but we've just finished Cherry Lane with a road extension using GEO bond money to do that road extension. Likewise, we have the funds in general obligation to do Cherry Lane, to repave it, and then also repave Arrowhead. So we have several road projects that the previous road manager had teed up, and so we'll get to those here pretty quick.
No further questions? Sure, Matt. Move on.
Thank you, Brendan.
Brendan, thank you.
Next we have solid waste, Mr. Andy Alvarez, and this is on page 222. Beginning for the Lone Star truck liner, so you can review for the additional cost and increase that he's added to his budget this fiscal year, and we'll turn it over to Wesley.
Great. Morning, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor, City Managers. Let's start out with from past achievement. Good morning, Mayor, Board Pro Tem, Commissioners. So during this past fiscal year, we've done some improvements to our yard. We've done some safety. We built some stairs leading up to our personal vehicles, so that way we can use our installed vehicles. Better parking for our trucks. We put some railroad ties down, making sure everything looks a little more presentable to the public when they come in. We have a new cap going on to the end, the top of our rail, or rather the wall on the tipping floor. Again, make it look more presentable, a little more for safety. Yes, we are in compliance with NMED. We, as we have in the past, talked to you guys about this. NMED came down for a surprise inspection and passed with flying colors with our at the collection center. And then we have had some people recertify with their tipping floor and recycling operator classes, and we're looking to see look forward to for other employees to get recertified or get certifications here soon as well. Everybody that has a CDL currently, so we don't have to pay for that quite yet. We have one gentleman, but that won't be until a little bit later.
Okay.
So we'll move on to the budget line items. So the trainings and recertifications, sanitary uniforms, we pretty much kept from last year's budget, kept things the same. We budgeted $7,000. Sounds like a lot. I have 13 employees, including myself. We just explained it, employee training. We send them down to the Donyan branch. It runs around $4,000 per employee to get trained. This also covers the certification, transfer station, recycling certification that is required.
Is everybody current now?
We got one that we need to get certifications in. And he's only been here with us now 3 months. So. Yeah, they have to be here a year before they can get their certification. So. Fuel, we kept the same, 60,000. And fuel prices, they look like they're going back down. So.
Week or two.
Yeah.
Then they'll go back up
Fingers crossed.
Do you feel the optimism?
like a roller coaster, isn't it?
Regular building and maintenance, just the repairs, like I need to get the door locks all replaced. They've been there since late 90s, just wearing out, but those replaced. Just other little minor repairs. This goes to our printers. We're short right now, short printers. And small equipment rentals, just in case if one of my backhoes goes down, or I need to rent a trailer or a weed cutter or lawnmower or something. Just don't know. Printing and publishing, that money goes towards like advertising for positions or recycling purposes for the Sentinel to run a recycling now. Be upgrading two computers. Been working all three eventually. Been working with Michael on that. Office supplies, papers, pens, cleaners, sanitizers. Kept that the same 3,000. Field supplies, DF, grease, oil, welding supplies, paint brushes, hand tools, brooms, rakes, a variety of things. For non-capital items, still working on replacing poly cards, adding poly cards, replacing dumpsters, both the 3-yard and 1.5. Basic safety supplies, boots, employees. Waste, I did go up. I don't have a percentage, I went up, but I can get that for you. Because they're gonna go up again in July. We're usually been averaging about 7%.
And that's the rates to us from Carlitos.
From Carlitos, South Central Solid Waste Authority. So,
Okay. And then you just incorporate those rates into your budget?
yes. On the transfer, that's Karen's. Maintenance, repairs, and ground. For paving, keeping the pavement, the roadways there, at the collection center. In good shape. The scale maintenance, watering, small equipment. We have our scale calibrated 4 times a year. So we also have to pay for the paradigm, computer stuff. Park Hill. We did 100,000. Park Hill is one of our engineers that works with NAD and us to help us keep in compliance. The Truth and Consequences landfill and the BLM landfill and the collection center. Buildings and structures. I'm looking off to the north side of my building. I have a wash bay, wash pad. We wash poly carts, dumpsters, backhoes, sanitation trucks. And I would like to get an awning over the top of that wash pad to get some of that sun from beating down on those guys, whether they're washing dumpsters and washing the poly cards. And I'm gonna like to budget 20,000 for that. I'm gonna let Wes take this next one over on other capital equipment and vehicles. I'll be asking for a polycard tipper. He'll explain to you more in detail what that is. And he'll go over the 2027 Freightliner with you. And, yeah. If you don't mind, I got a little presentation, try to keep it nice, sweet, short, simple. Only 15 pages. Extra one's this one. Right, your one. Huh? You want one? All right, Mayor Pro Tem Commissioners. So this is kind of similar to the last presentation I gave you guys last year for the dumpster truck that we were looking to purchase. This one's gonna be more focused around the polycart truck and the cart tipper. So right now we have 3 polycart trucks in our fleet. 2021 Freightliner, 2015 Peterbilt, and 2011 Auto Car. Just a little background on the polycarts. We have roughly 335-50 polycarts throughout the city. That includes the ones at the sanitation yard as well as out on the streets. We pick up roughly 300 to 700 polycarts daily for all our residents. Going back to the Park Hill study, Park Hill and New Gen. The data from the New Gen and Park Hill indicates that the reliable lifespan of a trash truck is typically 5 to 6 years. Adhering to the replacement schedule is a recognized best practice for minimizing the downtime and controlling long-term costs. The continuous stop and go nature of our routes leads to accelerated wear on the tires, braking system, engines, and transmissions. Constant loading and unloading places excessive stress on the mechanisms as trucks age, resulting in more frequent mechanical failures and maintenance costs. The older the fleet becomes, the more challenging it is to locate parts, leading to a steady increase in maintenance and repair expenses. We have extended the service life of our fleet through the exceptional efforts of our drivers and their commitment to preventative maintenance. By prioritizing tasks such as the regular greasing, thorough cleaning, and detailed daily inspections, our team has maximized utility of our current equipment. I'll start with 62618. That's our newest Freightliner polycart truck. It's only 5 years old as of right now, and currently at Border International for some repairs. So new trucks do have repairs. They do have to be serviced, but right now that's one that's in Las Cruces. We got 6918. That's our Peterbilt. It's a 2015. It's 11 years old as of now. Typically used as our main backup if our 62618 Freightliner truck goes down. But right now we're using it as our main truck. We get a lot of complaints right now with that truck due to the reason of the grabber. There's no way to really control that. When our driver picks it up, even if he has a little loose, when you start picking the arm up, it tightens. And so there's really no way to control or adjust that on our end without having sent to manufacturer, which would be the New Way, which is up in Albuquerque. So it crushes cans, leading to more costs of having to replace cans, leads to multiple service trips due to it won't dump all the trash. We get a lot of complaints with this truck. 2018, it's a 2011 Autocar Expediter. It's 15 years old as of now. It's typically used as our secondary backup. The safety features are inoperable due to the age of this truck. The cameras do not work. It's safety for backing up, and there's also a camera in the hopper, which allows us to see what's going into the hopper. We want to make sure there's no batteries going in there. There's nothing that's not supposed to be. This truck is ready for retirement. The packer's not working as properly as it should. It's not being able to keep up with the demand of the trash that we are receiving daily. Why do we need to purchase a new polycart truck? With parts becoming scarce, it's a big thing. Right now, the 2011 Autocar Expediter, it's kind of hard to find parts for it. The labor rates are going up with older models. Downtime, the trucks being at the shop, it gets a little rough when we have to use the older equipment, which we may do, but it gets a little hard because of having to send drivers back out. Unexpected early retirements, such as 1218, which I'll talk about in a little bit. The service center last week, I believe the commissioner said that truck we have no parts, absolutely no parts for that truck. It's a GMC, so it's hard to find anything for that. With 62618 being in the shop, we are left with only 2 polycart trucks and a temporary down due to a couple weeks ago, I believe. Truck number 2018 is having lots of issues with the Packer, like I said earlier. It's also having issues with its expensive DEF system. And how long before we have to replace an expensive mechanical part that is discontinued. So brief overview of 1218. It's 18 years old, was our main backup truck. Everything is being discontinued. You can't find any parts. This truck is being retired due to the scarcity of its parts available. And it's being replaced with a new truck that is currently being made, which was from the last year that we were talking about.
I have a couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir.
When you have scarcity of parts, is that for the truck itself, or is that for the compactor and the equipment that's in the back? Are they synonymous, or do they?
It's for the truck itself. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no way that, for instance, you can retire a part of the truck and just buy a new cylinder and new compaction systems and things like that. Do people do that, or is that worthwhile doing?
They both kind of age at the same time, both the body and the chassis. So,
Just trying to figure out a way
No,
that we can save a little bit of money, right?
right. So that 2026 Freightliner that I presented to you last year, that is the new Freightliner dumpster truck. It was supposed to replace 1018, but is now going to be replacing both 1018 and 1218. With it being new, it's not going to have any mechanical issues. The parts are readily available for these new trucks, and we are expecting to see this truck here in June. So in hopes, 2027 Freightliner polycart truck, a new truck like that would replace unit 2018. It will replace an aging unit, significantly increasing our route efficiency and reducing the downtime currently caused by frequent repairs. All safety features will be fully operational. This new unit would be in peak mechanical condition with no defects and further protected by the manufacturer's warranty for added security. Replacing the outdated unit with a modern side loader is the most cost-effective long-term strategy, as it eliminates the rising maintenance costs associated with our older equipment. Newer models have much more fuel efficient and have better emission standards. This would take approximately 8 to 10 months to be completed once a purchase is approved.
What is the manufacturer's warranty?
Typically, I would have to look it up. I want to say at least 300,000
Okay, so it's an extended warranty.
extended one.
How many years is that?
I would need to get the correct number for you, sir.
Okay.
And lastly, for a polycart tipper, we have a 2002 Sterling rear-loaded brush truck. This truck doesn't get used heavily, so it's still in good operations, I should say. We don't really have any breakdowns with this truck. It's been a good truck for us. Typically, it's our last resort for a trash pickup. A polycart tipper would ensure we have backup solution regardless of any mechanical issues with our fleet. We're just trying to have a little redundancy. If a dedicated truck goes down, unit 1918 with a tipper can step in and run the route without requiring the crew to lift every single can by hand, preventing a total service delay. Manually lifting polycarts into a rear loader is a strenuous task. By installing a tipper, you virtually eliminate the risk of back, shoulder, and injuries. We currently have this rear loader truck that is limited by manual labor. By investing a small amount into a tipper, we transform it into a high efficiency unit. We're protecting both the workers from injury, extending the life of our polycards, and ensuring that if our primary trucks go down, our service to the citizens doesn't skip a beat. It's kind of a catch-all with this truck. Yeah, at that point, we can still handle brush, still handle unfortunate illegal dumps. We can still service possibly even a 1.5 dumpster if we needed to. Last resort. And with that, I stand for any questions.
So it's the polycart tipper, this is the 25,000. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, did you already purchased a new one that you received, that you're getting in June, the one that's coming in, has already been purchased?
Yes, ma'am.
And the 400,000 for the new Freightliner, where is that revenue coming, or where's that funding coming from?
I'm sorry,
Where's the $400,000 for the new Freightliner, where does that come out of?
it's coming out of their fund that they have, their revenue fund.
From their revenue stream, okay. And we can afford that.
It's a cash on hand, right?
Right? Whips out a lot of cash. There you go.
No, they have it, those are revenues.
And are you guys fully staffed?
We just hired, one more. So I have a total of 12, one is being advertised.
And I know like, the, Sustainable TRC has talked about supplying volunteers on occasion. Have people been volunteering or helping in that capacity?
And Steve Gray and Don have at least once a week, at least once a week.
Does that help save you guys in any labor funding?
Labor funding.
Or like does it help you guys? You wouldn't have to pay somebody to do what they do, or is it just, they're just assisting in daily?
I want to say they're just assisting. They're helping us sort through the trash that comes in with the cardboard. Making sure we get some of that waste out of there, so that way it makes it more efficient for our guys. But it takes time because it's kind of mingled in with the cardboard. So sometimes you're loading in, our operator still has to get out. But they are helping. Like I said, we just two on and on.
Okay. And do you have any other equipment out there that's not functioning, or is everything else working great?
Next year's will be pending. Next year, I'm gonna be applying for the rate grant, see if I can get some funding out for a cardboard baler.
Okay.
So,
What about a wood chipper?
and also remember, these projects, they're wood chippers, balers, shredders, takes additional employees too, so down the road.
Where are we with employing credit cards in our use out there? We talked about it a year ago. I haven't heard anything. What's going on?
Jocelyn, Barry.
Mayor Pro Tem, that one's probably on me. We've really not focused, the finance team, we did have a conversation this year, and as soon as we get through budget, we're gonna begin looking at, finding that one company that can provide that service. It's really important to us across the board. Not only is it a weakness at the solid waste, in our office, it's a challenge. So, we just had that conversation, and we'll continue to pursue it.
Okay.
It's critical that we get to one system where customers can pay anywhere, online, all those items. So
One of the companies we were looking at is Point and Pay. It's a really good company that I'm familiar with at the county. And the city used to have it, so Karen likes it. We're just having to make sure that it interfaces with the Tyler system. So when we're looking for a credit card company, that's gonna be across the board. We just have to make sure it communicates with the Tyler system in order to move forward.
Okay. All right. I guess it's more complicated than I think it is. It's not just a credit card, right?
Everything has to plug in.
processing credit cards it's a process, it's a challenge, right? To get the right processor, pay the right fee. And then in this case, to make it interact with the software that you're running, so.
Well, I hope you put that on your radar. I know it's gonna be.
And I think what Mayor Pro Tem with a lot, though, because it wasn't readily available, kind of everybody's taken the time to kind of do it themselves. So, right, we have to solve for that, right? You know, again, yeah, you just have different processors at different places. So
Are we gonna look for a system that's gonna be citywide?
citywide,
No,
Be
it'll
able
be
to-
the same system for everything. And that's probably what.
across the board, everybody you'd have the access, came into play, you know, again, for in our office, it's paying for a zoning application or a building permit. They have to come over, do the paperwork, they have to walk to the clerk's office, pay, come back with the receipt. So yeah, it's kind of streamlining all those processes.
Okay.
Utilities, you know, being able to go there and pay for your tipping fees and those kind of things. All right,
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
Thank
Thank you,
you.
gentlemen.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen. Next, we have, Jamie with the water department, and that her first budget is on page 217, and the second one is on 228. Mayor, Pro Tem, Commissioners.
So, I'll start off with some accomplishments that the water department has achieved. We've got our leak list down to a manageable. It's approximately about, 20 leaks, or 10 leaks that we're currently working on, give or take. So it's a more manageable system versus about 50 where we were last year. Our goals next year will be to, focus more on maintenance of valves and hydrants, along with our water leaks, and then we'll be also focusing on doing full line replacements anywhere from 100 to 1,000 feet. Depending on the line that needs replaced, and this is in conjunction with the water projects that are going.
Is that in-house?
Yes,
How do you look for clusters? What
Yeah,
spots where
we'll-
you have a bunch of leaks, or what do you
we'll
do?
focus on the areas that, we're noticing the most leaks that are going on. And, target those areas first. We just have to, make sure that we are underneath the standard. If we go over 1,000 feet, we have to have engineering. And so to do it in-house, we need to stay under 1,000 feet.
Okay.
So starting with, employee training and per diem, our offices is constantly needing to be trained to get, better operator license. And so this, the training courses alone cost anywhere from $300 to $600, depending on which school they go to. And they range all over New Mexico. So they go as far north as like Espanola and Farmington, and they go all the way to Ruidoso and Las Cruces. So depending, that's where the per diem and the training comes.
How much of these are available remotely, or do you have to travel?
There's no remote training, unfortunately, for water operator or wastewater operator. Fuel costs, we kept the same. We're constantly moving in the trucks and equipment. And fuel prices, the way they are, if we just left it the same. We're slightly below budget this year, but we were estimating based off of current fuel prices that we're probably gonna hit what we budgeted for this year, next year. Rent of equipment. Water doesn't normally need to rent equipment, but if we do, it's going to be a small trencher or something that we need to be able to get into a smaller space versus the, putting our bigger backhoes. Sometimes doing service lines with our bigger backhoe is a problem, so we would rent equipment at that point. Printing and publishing, we do have to submit our CCR every year, so that's customer our personal report that gets sent out once a year. And then we have been sending out notices for all of our projects more to make sure that the public's aware that what area of town we're gonna be in, that there's possibly gonna be water outages, road closures, those kind of things. So that's where the printing comes in. Subscriptions and dues. So every operator owes a due once they become an operator once a year. So we pay, so the city has always paid their dues. It's $35 per employee per license. And then the other portion of that subscription is the half that water covers of the Doppler notification system. Doppler notification costs about $20,000 a year. And so that's where the subscriptions and dues come in. And let's see. Sorry. We have our software and updates. Those are all the software, SCADA system and all that stuff that we use to monitor 1,000. And I forgot to put it over there, and I apologize. And I can get you those exact numbers for those softwares. Chemicals and laboratory testing. There's not a lot of laboratory testing we have to do for water. However, we do use chlorine on a daily basis. And so that'll cover the chlorine costs for the year. We go through approximately half of 150 tank every 2 days. So we go through 13 tanks in about 3 weeks.
And how big is a tank?
It's a 150
It's 150 gallons. Pounds. You use, what kind of chlorine do you use?
Yes.
I want to get that for the pool.
Me and
It's more efficient.
And then we incur what they call demurrage charges, which are the rental of the tanks charges once a month. And it's $100 every month for the rental of the tanks. We're asking for the 4,000 for office supplies. The office chairs in my office are probably about 10 years old. If we're asking for new office chairs for the staff that are currently always in the office. And then, of course, our office supplies that we use on a daily basis. That's papers, sticky notes, pens, paper clips, that kind of stuff. Field supplies is all of the piping and stuff that goes into the ground. So that's pipe, clamps, time axes, corp stops, valves, all that is what they need about $100,000 for next year. Safety equipment, that includes hard hats, earplugs for when they're driving the heavy machinery and being out there with the back truck, safety glasses, gloves, boots. And then maintenance for repairs of roadways and grounds. That's all of the base course and the bedding we use when we're replacing pipes. So all the stuff that goes underground. So that base sheets can come and put an asphalt patch on top. Vehicle equipment for maintenance. We buy the grease and the stuff for all of our grease ports on our heavy machinery. And the hoses and such for the vac truck and the vac trailer. And then we have our meters. We're planning on trying to put in the new Landis and Gear meters, and those cost about $250 a piece for a 3/4 inch meter. The price goes up depending on the size, but majority of the town is 3/4 inch. So we're asking to put a budget line item in there for new meters. Professional services, that's the contract for Jesse Cole. That's half of his contract that he does for water and wastewater. And then potential contracts with Steve Bell and Smithco for smaller projects that we want to accomplish next year that my crew either needs to learn how to do or we're doing something else. And it'll be beneficial for them to get out there and do something. The last item that I'm asking for the big purchase is our vac trailer weighs about 20,000 pounds fully loaded. So that's with both water tanks full and a full debris tank. We have that on a quite a bit basis. That debris tank gets full and the water tanks will be full too. I am currently pulling that with a F-250 and we're noticing that it's causing some transmission issues within the truck because the truck's not graded to pull that. So we're asking to split between water and wastewater to be able to get a bigger vehicle to be able to pull that trailer safely for my crew. There's been instances where they went to brake and the brakes didn't stop the trailer before a stop sign because it just isn't graded to that trailer. There's too much weight behind it, especially going up or down.
When is that back truck due for replacement?
The vac truck is a 2017. I'll probably be looking for funding next year or the following year for the vac truck.
And I know it's been broken down a couple times.
Yes, luckily this year, we haven't had very many maintenance issues with it. It was down quite a bit last year. And that's when, I've spoken with Gary and such about actually leasing a vac truck. So that way, going that route versus outright purchasing it.
How often do you
The vac truck, we use it on a daily basis.
virtually every leak, right?
Every leak, every sewer repair, every water, we use it to help pull out 2-inch meters. That kind of stuff, yeah. We use it every day.
When it's down, you borrow the other back truck that we have? How does that work?
There's been a couple of times where Bo's been gracious to let us borrow his vac truck, yes. Normally, we try to get it done with the trailer, it just takes longer.
Well, how often do you use your back truck?
Quite a bit here recently, being that there's a lot of underground utilities, when we go to set a pole, we call it locates. If there's something that they're real close where we're gonna set the pole, then we use the back truck to suck a hole, stand up pole up in.
What year is your truck?
It's their old one that they
Okay.
get.
All right. It still works though.
The third,
Thank you. Okay. Questions? How's your staffing going? Yes.
My last employee started last Friday. He's with this one,
How many you have on probation? One?
just one, or two, my admin and this one.
Is there another vehicle in the city that you know of that would be able to pull that back trailer?
The only one, and it's one we modeled, the one that we want to purchase off of is the Streets New. I think it's a CV. The one that they have that pulls their equipment.
Do you borrowed it?
I have not borrowed it yet.
When would you be expecting to get a new truck to be able to pull that back trailer? Put it in the budget for next year to purchase?
Well, we're asking for it for this year. And we're hoping to purchase it probably August.
Okay, but yes,
Yeah.
understood. But yeah, this year, but next year.
Yeah, this year, but next year.
And then the funding to cover that comes out of your revenues as well?
I believe so, Johnson. The funding for the truck would come out of our
Yeah, it would come out of their revenue. So honestly, the water and wastewater is a tighter budget of all the enterprise funds. But they would have enough revenue to cover it.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, as you think and look across the enterprises, the funds, no matter whether it's the solid waste truck or this truck, they have to come from their revenues and any potential cash that they've saved. And each department does, we do keep a reserve in each of those, so either cash on hand or operational revenue.
Just remember like, gosh, 3 or 4 years ago, water department saying, they have to pay some of the revenues goes to paying off loans that they have. So I just was curious if, they have enough to pay to meet their loan amounts and also get much needed equipment. So.
Mayor Pro Tem, in the discussions about rates, obviously the debt load on the water system is about 400,000 currently. In a year and a half, 2 years, when we move the 2 USDA loans over, we'll be at about 700,000. So those are all considerations, right? Doesn't change the need,
Yeah.
right? Doesn't change the fact that, you have to be able to get equipment in the field, and you need, each department does have a requirement. The equipment does fail, right? It's nothing you can do about it. So we're trying to thread a needle here with the water department, water and wastewater.
Okay, any other questions?
And Mayor Pro Tem, I would add, last year in the budget, we did approve a truck, and I did not allow them to purchase that truck this year, right? Just trying to maintain and understand where our revenues were. We were operating okay. So again, we're not going to buy it from this year's budgeted dollars. This truck would go in if it all works out in the interim and the final, and then we would purchase it next year. Okay?
Thank you.
So that is on page 228 of the packet.
Accomplishments for wastewater this year, we did replace 2 pumps in the RAS room, which is return active sludge. So it's the stuff that comes out of the clarifier that needs to go back through the racetrack. We rehabbed 2 blowers and 2 mixers for the racetrack, and then we're hoping next year to install some stormwater berms as per our permit. We need a stormwater collection area that's not the current outfall that goes into the river. We need a little space that when it does rain, if it does push stuff down from the wastewater treatment plant, it collects. And then we're also looking to purchase 2 new or we're hoping to get some more mixers and blowers for the racetrack so that they're more up to date instead of just rehabbing the ones that we do. So starting with employee training and per diem again, I do have that 1 new employee. We will need to go to training within 6 months of being at the wastewater treatment plant. All my other employees have gone, they went late this year, so they will not be eligible for more training through NMED for another year. So they're all getting ready to go for their next tests. So they'll be, I only have 1 employee that will need to go to training out of wastewater. Then we have the uniforms. We use Universe for our shirts, and then each employee is allotted $300 for 6 pairs of jeans to get them through the year. Diesel and fuel for all equipment. We have we budgeted the same that we budgeted this year, the $12,000. Rental equipment, we do rent equipment. We will be planning on renting equipment more at the wastewater plant. There's some things in the the racetrack or the aerator and the clarifiers that we will need to rent lifts for, so my crew can safely get over the top of it and pull out some vegetation and some of that stuff that we can't reach with just long handled rakes. And we have printing and publishing. That printing and publishing, our discharge permit will be up as of April 2027, and so we will have to be publishing for a new discharge permit to make sure that we get the that is the discharge permit that allows us to put the water from the wastewater treatment plant out to the river, to the ball fields, that kind of stuff. So we will, that one is up as of the April of 2027. Then we have subscriptions and dues. Again, that's half the docker costs and half of the operator dues. Then we have the cost for testing at the lab. We're asking for 80,000. The cost of our labs, we send out anywhere from 5 test samples to 8 test samples a week. And that goes up to Albuquerque to be tested. And then we also do 4 in-house tests that we do have to buy equipment for. And then we have the polymer that allows the solids to come out of the waste, and that's what creates the compost. We have HTH, which is a chemical for disinfection out of the wastewater treatment plant. So if there's a minor spill, that's what we use to disinfect the area. It's a strong chlorine essentially. And then we stayed the same for the office supplies for the wastewater treatment plant. Then we have safety equipment is safety boots, hard hats and gloves for the crew out at the plant. So we're looking for new aerator parts for some of the aerators that are in the system. And then field supplies would be the sewer piping that's in the ground that we have to replace occasionally. The maintenance equipment for the wastewater treatment plant. So our UV lights, our UV sleeves, those kind of things out there. And then equipment maintenance, we have to buy all the oil and the grease for all the pumps, that is including the vac station, and we have to replace that oil in those pumps at least once a month because of how long they are running. The oil is only good for, I believe it's 3,000 hours, and we hit that every month. So if I remember, $250 per pump every time we have to replace it. So, and that's not including the filters that have to go with it. Then we have out of professional services, that's half of Justice contract, and also small projects from Smithco and possibly Steve Bell if there's things that they need, that we need them to help us out with. And then we're asking for the other half of the truck.
Use that, the truck that's gonna pull the back, use it for both water and wastewater,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, the back trailer and the back truck are multi-purpose between the both departments.
So for Jesse Cole's contract, is that 60,000? Do you pay half out of water and half out of wastewater? Is that how that works? That is, I don't see the deduction here.
Mayor Pro Tem, This year, we just paid it out of the water department. But we do use Mr. Cole's 4x4, right? His certifications are 4 and water 4. We need them in both areas. We just took that out. And again, he's running $1,000 a month plus any additional projects that we find for him. We're going to be just under 20,000 with Mr. Cole and his contract to be our licensure requirement.
Yeah, and it was significantly under what we budgeted for, but
Yes.
hopefully it stays that way.
Hopefully it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. We had a good meeting with him yesterday and things seem to be moving along. You know, we've got some ideas that you're hearing here that we want to kind of take to the next level. So he'll be an important factor in that.
Comments, questions? Yeah, I think we're good. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, just a couple of comments on the contractor side of the water house. You see in there that we're talking about using Mr. Cole and eventually Steve Bell Construction, both are capable and certified to do water repairs. These are going to be small repairs. Again, we used Mr. Cole in December to get us caught up, fixed, I think 16 water leaks for us at an average cost of about $500 a call, right? About 3.5, 4 hours. And that significantly helped our crew be able to stay up with the larger leaks using those things. So it'd be kind of similar process with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the service center, Wyatt Graves, and his budget's on 241.
Morning.
Good morning.
Anytime you are.
Okay, you got it. Good morning, Mayor, Pro Tem, Commissioners. This morning, I'm going to start out by just saying that over the last fiscal year, my role at the service center has been really focused on adapting the procurement process, improving operational capability, and ensuring that we do make responsible long-term investments with the monies that you've allotted us. One of the most impactful changes this year was our dissolution of the 101 fund. So the finance department really helped out by creating two large pools of money. One for the maintenance on parts, the other for tires. So this helps us to not have to go to each individual department head to get approvals. So we can more easily just get it fixed. Tires. Some of the training progress that we've had. We've expanded our in-house capabilities. One of our mechanics and myself, we completed a certification training in El Paso for rebuilding hydraulic pumps and motors. That way, that's just one less thing that we have to get outsourced for other vendors. And then I obtained my CDL within the last year, and our other mechanic, Daniel Garola, he's currently in classes for that. So this not only allows us to test drive the big trucks legally, but that way we can also take things out of town when we do have to take it for larger repairs. Throughout the year, we've evaluated several key upgrades to the service center, including electrical improvements, staircase rebuild. We want to put in a new air compressor, which we purchased. There's a little bit more work to be done on the planning for that. And then we also discussed I did approve that last year, but I wanted to bring it up again too. While these funds were allocated for the improvements, I've held off on certain purchases just to make sure we know we want to spend our money. Unfortunately, we did have kind of a fiasco with our garage doors, so issues arose there. I've got quotes for these, and then also like the staircase upgrade. It's a safety thing. So I just wanted you guys to know that I want to be responsible with the money that you have given us. Looking ahead, I do want to focus on executing the upgrades in a priority manner. The goal is to continue improving the ability to perform work in-house. Of course, that's going to help reduce costs, and I do want to strengthen the service reliability across all the departments. So this year has been about building a stronger foundation, capability, and planning so that the future investments are made wisely and effectively. I'm gonna go through each line item.
You have any questions so far about what we've gotten? Your garage doors, are those gonna be electric or manual?
Both
No.
manual, or excuse me, the way they said it was electric over manual. So that way, in case we have an issue,
Right.
we can at least chain drive it down to close it for the day or whatever.
Okay, and there's 3 different doors that you're gonna work on?
Correct, all 3 different doors. Yeah,
There are 3 big doors.
yes, sir.
As far as ordering, you mentioned you ordered tires in bulk,
Yes, sir.
basically, and oil.
And oil, we regularly get that in bulk. Yes, sir.
And other fuels or,
Yeah, in one of our line items for 30 grand, we have fuel. That's not only for us, but because we do drive multiple vehicles, that's to take them in and out of town when they've got to go to a dealership or for recalls. So that is, but if you're just asking about for keeping what we have at the service center, yeah, that is also used for that.
and then when you buy parts, do you get discounts?
Absolutely.
Okay, and you've worked those already, so we're getting the maximum we can get from if we buy locally, for instance, do we get a break?
I believe so. Yes, sir.
Okay. And do we get that through getting bids, or do we they just give us a discount?
It's just a straight across the board discount.
All right. And how did we get those? Do we do an RFP on that, or?
High enough to do a better RFP, they just have to get the best.
Okay,
Yeah, so it's through the vendors
right.
discount program, not necessarily anything that we gave them in order to give us a cut.
Okay. You don't go out and get quotes for the small items, you just,
Correct.
okay, all right. Thank you. As far as your line items, just if there's any major changes, high or low, then we would like to go over those.
Absolutely.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah.
On so when we initially pulled the numbers together for those 2, for the tires and the maintenance equipment, if you notice on the 25, 26, 25 budgets, and where we had a significant amount, it was based on all the usage from all the entities and the equipment. So if you look at the next line, you can see where we didn't even touch half of that when it was all separate. So now in this new fiscal year, we've decreased it even more. So that was a test, so to say, and we can tell by the last line. And it's up to date currently on the expenditures on the screen. We can see where we've saved more money by putting it in the 600 versus spreading it out through all the departments. To show that to you and part of the idea behind the 600.
The high points,
That's the high point
or the low points.
or the low point.
Whichever way you want to frame it.
Yeah, we definitely had some changes, a couple small ones, like our 43465 line item. Rent of equipment, we went down 1,000. Again, it's just kind of playing off of last year's, not expecting too much change. So where we can tighten the belt, we wanted to. Same thing with non-capital items. Like Jocelyn said, we went way down for the vehicle. I mean, we had our budget discussion last month and just basically took $100,000 right off the top. But and then let's see, the one that we did go up, we were using a lot of that this year, and I think that we will be able to use more of the vehicle maintenance budget to. I was really worried about keeping things on hand, so we used the field supplies for things in the service center rather than hard parts like brakes and things like that. So just moving funds from one line to another is why we wanted to go up with that.
So if you go up in field supplies, does that mean other departments may go down? Or is this stuff that you use across the board for everybody?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so they should be asking for less in some cases, right?
Mayor Pro Tem, in this particular case, the other departments wouldn't be asking for less. What we've done is taken each department that had maintenance for their vehicles in their own departments. We've basically streamlined that and put it in Wyatt. So his function is to make sure he's got everything in the department to cover everyone's budget, if you will. So.
Okay.
So what he's pointing out here is last year they used this line item to buy inventory type stock items, nuts, bolts, those kind of items. And we can do that from the regular maintenance side of the house now, because he understands, now that we see how much money he uses on a regular basis to maintain vehicles.
And another thing to know is those two lines, we will also take a portion from the enterprise funds to offset the cost as the
Correct.
maintenance, so that it's not all covered completely by the general fund. That's what we're, right, this fiscal year, we did it via a purchase order, but next fiscal year, we're just gonna do it internally. It'll just be faster and easier.
Okay,
Unless y'all have any more questions.
any other comments, questions?
I'm having a comment like always.
This is your baby.
So, I said last year again, I'm a friend of having pretty much everything in central. And for me, and I know that I'm always getting so why is that here I heard already we want to purchase vehicles of every department. And the only thing what I would, the service center is doing the service on it, say now which vehicles have so many miles, how many, what needs to be replaced. And I really would like to see that when it comes to budgeting, that the service center gets the budget here to purchase new vehicles. That here pretty much the specialist is saying, okay, I worked on this vehicle over and over. I replaced so many brakes.
Yeah.
I saw things that is not feasible anymore to pretty much, what is it called in the US, beating a dead horse. We need a new vehicle. And that is what I would like to see in the future, that first of all, that he has an efficient warehouse with maintenance equipment, what he can buy in bulk, that when in an older, especially older vehicles, when it comes out, we are discontinuing these vehicles, that we can at least the maintenance equipment can buy materials that we are not running into, oh, you can't get that washer anymore, you can't get this part anymore, but we can say, no, the vehicle is still worth repairing over and over, and we bought, just in case, certain equipment and parts to keep it going a little bit longer than normal. And that here really in the future, when it comes to vehicle purchases, that really the service center is the one who comes and says, okay, now it's time. And it is not here, but every year it is okay. And don't get me wrong, your presentation was amazing. With explaining why and how and everything, but at the end, yeah, I would like here to see that there's one service center, one person who really here is looking into it and makes then the final decision and presents it to us with the reasoning why. And everything, first of all, here to put less pressure also on other departments to do their own research. You know, I'm not a mechanic, and here when I would say, yeah, it sounds weird, I bring it to the service center over and over. But then me saying, no, I want now a new one, a new vehicle. So now I want it that it is one source who makes the final decision and presents it to us. And yeah, I hear also that I really believe here, because when you see the costs of everything rising more and more, that I think here to create, especially for older vehicles, we still have a side warehouse with certain parts. But desto older a vehicle gets, desto more expensive the parts gets. So when we have a certain price, that we really say, okay, I believe the vehicle can survive 5 more years, but here for regular maintenance, I need so much parts, and that is all centered in one department, and also the budget is then especially maintenance thing. When the department heads want to work on their own vehicles or do the regular like smearing of bolts and nuts and all that, but that they really go and say, okay, we are planning next week on doing maintenance on those trucks, that is a centralized warehouse where they come and say, hey, we do our maintenance, I need 3 tubes of fat. And I think here when we have a warehouse system, that here we have more control over the budget and can accordingly with how much we use. Well, I see in the budget a lot between here where what we had in the budget and what we spent. But when we centralize certain things more, then I think we can work much more sufficient. And I think here as the service center is a starting point to do that when it comes to vehicles. That really that with also with our new systems, digital systems, you can send notifications, hey, your mileage is here, we need to do maintenance, so don't plan on using this vehicle. And I think here we can tune all that, to do that here a little bit better than it is. And of course, having some qualified mechanics and everything with more and more training, we can do more in-house. And due to that, I think here we can be better than we are already. You're doing an amazing job with your reports. What I hear each time, I'm just, you know what you're doing. And so I really believe here that we can pull that off to go to the kind of for the future, to the next level where we are more efficient. And like I know you ran a car dealership and everything, so you know how more efficient we could be in that regards when it comes to vehicles.
Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner Hepner, what I would say to you, to give you confidence, I mean, clearly I want to make sure that you feel heard. Just by, again, this is interim, just by approving the budget doesn't mean that we're going to buy these vehicles. To follow the process, everyone that's got a vehicle, if it comes through, they're going to have to come back, to the commission and request that vehicle again, just like we did last year, right? So just to be clear. If you take a look at the numbers, you can see from last year where we budgeted, where we started this process, right? The finance team came up with this concept of putting everything, giving Wyatt control. We can clearly see that we were successful in that both line items, we've spent less than half of what we budgeted for. So that concept that you have of a central warehouse to have those. And then likewise, we continue to talk about the iWorks program that we have. We're getting better every day using it, right? Wyatt is working. I wish it would be a snap of a finger and he could come in and just pull the trucks again, the truck that Andy and Wes have talked about, right? The records are there. It'd be nice. So we'll add that, but we hear you loud and clear. It's just going to take some time. That's just going to continue to get better and better.
For the
As-
future, just.
Exactly. As Wyatt gets better at his functions and the roles there, right? That bit of information becomes a part. It's not always going to be streamlined as black and white. Again, I would say it's not, I don't see a situation where Wyatt's going to come in here and say, this is what the solid waste department needs, and here's their truck, and here's how it works, and those kind of things. I think Andy and Wes did the very solid presentation today on the value of that. But you do need, in our next presentation, right? I do hear you, Wyatt would be a part of that to give you the overview of the truck that we're trying to take offline. Correct?
Yeah.
So I think your concept, just to be fair to you, we've heard you, we hear you. I want to make sure that I honor what you've asked us to do. And we are trending really towards that particular issue. And so, we'll continue to get better and better at that process. So.
Good. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Thank you, Wyatt.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Thank you.
Next, we have Gene's team. We'll start with his budget, page 52. For the community.
That's way back. Good job, everybody.
Thank you.
Morning, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. Hardly been a year. Already, it's like we were just doing this. I'm just gonna kind of touch base a little bit on the direction, overall of the community service departments. We've accomplished a lot. I feel like, especially like our rec department's growing. We're starting to expand a little bit from Ralph Douglas Park. I think you guys have heard that we received funding for a master plan for Rotary Park, a river surfway feasibility study. How exciting is that? As we complete Ralph Douglas Park, and just so everybody knows, I just spoke to the contractor. He's going to do his final pours this week. That's about a week to cure before we can get on it. The only thing that will be remaining for that skate park is after about a week. He's going to come back. He's going to acid wash the sides of the ramps, kind of a bluish or turquoise color, something to kind of blend in with the rest of the park. But it will be ready for Fiesta. So the boat dock, as we get closer to finishing that up, like I said, there's a couple other little small things. Horseshoe pits we need to get over at Ralph Douglas Park, right? There's a couple other small things to kind of finish up. Maybe some more trees, canopy over there. But we're kind of moving from that, and we're getting ready to expand to give some of these other parks some attention. Last year with our swimming pool, we've had our most successful season since I've been a part of this swimming pool this year. And then that as I progress in my career, I'd like to become more efficient in giving some of these other departments some attention as well. So, I spend a majority of my time in a few departments, and I've got more responsibility than that, and I just need to find a way to delegate better and manage those a little bit better. So with that said, just kind of jump in. Mine's probably the simplest budget of all the budgets for the community service department. Everything's pretty similar to last year's. The one thing that I've been doing is I've been paying for my uniforms out of the parks budget. So I just put a little comment in there if we wanted to separate that or not. I think it works the way it is. But I did throw $700 in there for uniforms. If that's the ultimate decision, if we decide to take that out of community services or the park budget. So, employee training, $500. I've been going for the last five years to the New Mexico Outdoor Economic Conference. I'd like to continue going there. It's a great way to network, and just to, really, expand your resources. So I'd like to continue going to that. For fuel, $2,200. I average about $150 a month. That comes out to about $1,800 a year, and then $400 for out of town trips and picking up supplies and things of that nature. Office supplies, I budgeted $200. That's in support. I do work out of the city manager's office. I don't mind do all the ordering. That's fine with me. But I would like to support that over there, yeah, if possible. So, this is one change I am requesting this year. I am requesting to have my own field supplies. I've been robbing the Parks Department all year long, and I do that with some of the other departments. If something comes up, I need it right away. I've got several departments that I help manage and maintain. I'd like to be able to support that from my own field supplies line, if at all possible. So that wasn't in there last year, but that is something that I would be requesting this year. Safety equipment, that would be my steel toe boots. And then maintenance on vehicles, from what I understand, right, we're moving kind of transitioning over to the service center. But I don't know if we would need that line there at all. So
What type of supplies are you looking for under field supplies?
anything that arrives through daily maintenance. A lot of times, we need a special part, some of that nature. And then I have to go and I have to find out, like for the swimming pool, for instance, this year, I robbed the Parks Department left and right, getting that swimming pool ready to get open, run into the hardware store, things of that nature. The golf course may have something that comes up. I may be in Cruces. I may have to pick up a sprinkler or, a special part, specialty part, some of that nature. Facilities, they may need something, moving forward here or there. And it would be nice to have kind of my own little fund to take that from, so I wouldn't have to rob from all the other departments.
So you're supporting all the departments that you oversee, basically?
Correct. And that's what that would be for.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And then Michael, our IT, did spend the majority of the afternoon yesterday in my office. He says I need a new computer. So I would request about a $2,000. He said it'd be about $1,800 for the computer. So I would request that as well. So.
That'll come out of field supplies.
Any other questions?
Well, and I'll be hanging around the other department. So.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next we have Miss Pat, from the library. Her first budget is on page 61.
Hey, Pat, you can start.
Good morning. Our most ambitious project during the current fiscal year has been the upgrade of our automation system and its supporting equipment. We have had help from Carrie, our public information officer, and from Michael in tech support, and we owe thanks to both of them for all their help. We're nearing completion of the project, and we believe we'll have it finished before the end of June. The purpose has been the improvement of our library system and services to provide our library patrons with more secure platform for their library use, check-in, check-out calls, online catalog use, etc. Along with the software upgrades, we have replaced most of our outdated computers, and staff has attended a 2-hour class on the use of the updated system. After all the software upgrades are completed, we will have one more online class to ensure that we are able to use it correctly. Our goal for the coming fiscal year will be to maintain and improve the level of services and growth at Maine
and to encourage the increasing use and development of our branch library. So far in the last quarter, that's January, February, and March this year, 4,924 people have visited the two branches during the regular open hours, 218 of them at the branch. We want to make that number grow. The single budget increase we are asking this year will be for one additional part-time clerk. This will give us sufficient staff to keep both branches open when somebody is sick or on vacation. And that is all I have there, unless somebody has questions.
I must say that your descriptions are very detailed, almost like you're a librarian.
Looks like you're keeping pretty much the status quo all the way through.
Well, you know,
Yeah. It worked, right?
don't fix it if it ain't broke.
Any questions, comments? Any significant grants you're gonna apply for this year?
Oh, I have, well, we will have the same two grants that we will apply for, that one of them is pretty much spent right now. It is required to be spent by June 30th. That is our state grant and aid, $15,000.
Right.
We also have disposed of the, this year's GO bond, which was about 36,000, and we have a new GO bond. We've been informed that the bonds have sold, but the state finance department does not have the purchase orders yet, so we're not ready to use that. And then we anticipate that our grant and aid will be about the same size, about 15,000.
All right.
So roughly $50,000 in grants that we're.
Mayor Pro Tem, that would be your budget on page 100 as well. So we'll take care of those two. You can see the $50,000 plus any donations. Fine. Page 100.
Okay. Any other questions?
Great job.
And Mayor, I would just say, we're committed. I'm going to support Pat on this additional. It's not going to truly be a part-time. We've committed. We've kind of agreed to a 16-hour, which would be a temporary position, would save us a little bit because we would be able to we don't have to provide benefits and PERA for that particular spot. Pat feels really confident that with 16 more hours, she could keep the library at Williamsburg open. So we're going to be as supportive and committed to that particular position as we can.
Okay.
Nice.
Thank you. All right. Okay. Thank you, Pat.
That would take care of both the libraries 101 and then the 294 account. So with that, we'll move to our animal shelter. And you're going to find the animal shelter on page 22 of your presentation. Page 22. Thank you, Pat. Thank you.
And we go to the page number.
Into page 22.
Okay, Brian, go ahead. Sarah, how are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Good.
So this year's been a really big year for us. We celebrated our third Jordan's Way event, which was very successful, as you guys all know. We also started partnering with more rescues, such as Dog is My Co-Pilot, which we've already done 2 of them. We have our 3rd one scheduled, Project Fetch, Best Friends. So we're doing a lot more rescues than we ever have before. As you guys know, we became a no-kill shelter in the beginning of the fiscal year, which was even more exciting for that. We have our spay and neuter grant that we got this year, which has been very successful. We've had 115 people sign up for the spay and neuter grant so far, just since January, which is very exciting. We alone this fiscal year have gotten 128 dogs fixed and 107 cats fixed. So hopefully we'll see less puppies and kittens. Last year we had 164 animals sent to a rescue, which was our biggest year since the shelter has been open, which is really good. With 201 adoptions, not our best year, but that's okay. For our goals for this coming year, of course, our expansion, which we're super excited about. As far as reapplying for the spay and neuter grant, hopefully getting some more grants as well, and more community events. And then, of course, getting everybody rescued or homed. Do you want me to just start going over the big changes to the budget?
Change it up or down.
Okay, so for the first one, we have the per diem, which we haven't had one for the shelter before as far as per diem on budget, but that's mainly to cover the cost for going to conferences and that sort of thing. We figured we would separate it a little bit more this time. So that's been added. Our uniforms went slightly up, but that's just to cover the cost of everything, life. Pretty much, we get all our shirts from Amazon because we feel that our uniform shirts should have messages to promote more adoptions or rescues. They should have like a good cause in order for that. So we get them all on Amazon at a pretty good deal. The employee training did change a little bit from the last few years, but that's mainly because of the per diem. We're also going to be looking at getting another euthanization staff on with us. So our lead, we're going to have him euthanize training as well. So that way there's 2 of us. That's mainly for in case of emergencies, like if there's something overnight on the weekend when the vet's not available. And let's say I'm on vacation, we have somebody else who can make sure the animal doesn't suffer in training for too long. So that's been changed. The fuel went up slightly, but that's mainly because of the cost of fuel nowadays. Nothing is cheap when it comes to that, sadly, but we didn't increase it too much. As far as the software that we use, we did decrease it because it's been kind of a little bit of a pain to get our credit card up and running. So we figured it's just easy to do cash and check. So I figured why budget for it this year. The other thing that we have on there is our donation expenses. Those are from our donations from July to January 31st. There is some more budget donations that we have received, but that's something that we'll add on in the next few months. The reason we're leaving that on there is for the expansion itself. Once the expansion is done, it's all perfect. The building's there, the kennels are there. But now we have to worry about the food and the bowls and the supplies just to outfit it. So we're going to keep the donation so we can carry that over so we can take the donation money and outfit the expansion as needed. The other big thing that we changed is our professional services. This did decrease. The main reason that this line item decreased is for the fact that we are now no kill. So our animal cremation services have literally been cut in half from years past because we're not euthanizing just because anymore. So we were able to save money there. We also have our spay and neuter grant that currently it does go until October. Fingers crossed we can reapply and get it next year as well. So that will lower the cost as far as surgeries go, but we still need it in case there's other vet visits and all that other little stuff that needs to come up. That's all I got, unless you guys have any questions or concerns.
Questions, comments?
I just want to say thank you for all your hard work you do. And it is absolutely amazing that we are now Kirchstelter now, and we have a lot of animal lovers, and they are all appreciating. And we are also in an emergency when somebody's low income. that you are able to help them here with families and everything. That is absolutely. I have so much respect for you for all you do. Thank you so much for everything.
Have you had any takers on returning feral cats back to the neighborhood?
We have a few that people come in and they want to bring them back, so we've been setting them up as far as either with our spay and neuter grant, Desert Haven with the spay stray, just to bring them to the vet, get them fixed, and they go right back. Knock on wood, I haven't had a whole lot of feral cats since that got approved, so it's probably a good thing, because I have a lot of dogs and crates.
Comments? Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
The food's on the way, so it's in the only state.
Say. Well, both of you can't be at the same time. Wait till one comes back.
Oh, okay, good. Go ahead.
None of them.
Technical difficulties.
See, it's about a good spot for a 5-minute break.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, let's do that. Let's adjourn for 5 minutes.
No, no.